Okay, I promised I would derive the quadratic formula. So here we go. So we start with ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And we have to treat a, b, and c like they're numbers, just like we did all the other problems. So the first step I would do is I would take and make sure that I have a leading coefficient of 1. So I'm going to divide everybody by a. And that leaves me with just an x squared. And again, I'm going to treat a and b like they're numbers. So I'll put that as my coefficient, b over ax. And then I have my c over a. And 0 over a, as long as a is 0, 0. So this is where we're starting. As long as I have a leading coefficient of 1, then I can finish the process of completing the square. So I'll prepare myself to do that by moving away this term right there. So I'll move it to the other side and leave myself a space here, because I'm going to add something here and also on this side. So the process that I use to figure out what term I need is, I'll just do this off to the side. I take half of b over a. So I would get b over 2a. And then I take my b over 2a and I square it. So I get b squared over 4a squared. Again, normally we have numbers in here, but we're just trying to be creative and get x on one side, everybody else on the other side, which forms a formula. So both sides get the b squared over 4a squared to keep it balanced. So I've done this term on purpose. I've added it to the side so that I go from having 2 copies of x like this to having only 1. Because I can't, the way it was originally, I can't isolate x. I've got an x squared and I have an x. So now I'll have 1, because as I factor this, it will be the same factor twice. And as we saw the pattern before, that when we took half of our middle term, that's what ends up going over here. Okay, and as a check, write it nicer. Okay, so as a check, you can see that if you take b over 2a times b over 2a, you get b squared over 4a squared. Now on the right-hand side, I have to add these. So I need a common denominator. 4a is my common denominator. So everything is going to be over 4a squared. And again, the reason we had to add these, I've been going over this several times, is because the following step is the square root. And we can't square root across a plus, but we can across division. So I need to create one fraction out of this. So I'm going to have 2 terms in the top of my fraction. So I'm going to write the b squared first because it's positive, and then the negative 4ac. So negative 4ac. I'll write that second. Okay, so now we look back again and we see that I have just 1 copy of x. So to get it by itself, I need to square root both sides. And I can square root the top separate from the bottom. Okay, we've seen that the left-hand side really is an absolute value. And so we would remove the absolute value and measure to the right and the left. So I go ahead and do that now. And so then we have x plus b over 2a on the left-hand side, and then the right-hand side, the top won't simplify unless b squared minus 4ac was a perfect square, or it had a perfect square factor that I could take out, but it does not. So b squared minus 4ac is left in there, and it's only over 2a. And we're almost done. I'm going to move my b over 2a to the other side, so I have a negative b over 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And just to make it a little bit more compact, easier to memorize, we'll put it all over the same denominator. So we'll put the negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I'll just move the x to the other side here. This is my quadratic formula.